Hey guys, let's go over our Philosopher Histagram project. First of all, you should have read the directions on the last slide. They should have popped up, but they'll also be attached to the project inside Schoology. So our histogram account is a history Instagram. Get it? Histogram? Where you're looking at one of the philosophers that we've studied during classical republicanism or natural law in our foundations unit. So you have a choice between Socrates, Plato, Machiavelli, Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, or Montesquieu. To complete this project, you're going to use a template created in Google Slides to upload photos and images with some requirements. So you'll also be using hashtags on your posts. So first let's go through the hashtags. So you should have at least 2 hashtags per post. One should label what the post is for, like what it represents for the required list, and the other should add meaning to it. Using our keywords from our lectures and our class notes will really help you add depth. You can also be creative. Required posts. So you're going to have one that's about a public figure or celebrity. It could be a quote or an image of that person. It could be dead or alive. That their beliefs or actions of that celebrity or public figure relate to the work of that philosopher or that philosopher's ideas. There should be a selfie picture of the philosopher, which most of these guys, it's going to be a painting or a sketch. A quote from the philosopher, and a quote they would agree with, so a quote that's not necessarily from them. Then a repost from another philosopher we studied who shares similar views or opinions. And then a picture that represents their contribution to American government, and an image or photo to represent the time and or place they lived. Some other ideas for the last couple of posts that you'll have to do is, what memes would your philosopher like or enjoy? Did they write any books? Or what would they think of current events? You'll also include a username and biography. Your biography just has to be a couple words or sentences. It doesn't have to be really long. So let's look at an example that I'm making. So I chose to do Socrates. So first I've added my username is @Socrates, and then my biography is Greek philosopher, period. He's a student of Plato, or teacher of Plato. And lover of civic virtue. Okay, when I'm ready to introduce my idea, so first of all, here is the repost thing. You guys can move this wherever you want to, and then we put in hashtags to remind you to do hashtags in those boxes. So the first thing that our list says is that I have to have a selfie. So I'm going to go to Insert, Image, and I'm going to search the web, and I'm going to put in Socrates, and I'm going to find an image I like. So I like this one. So I'm going to insert it, and it's probably going to be gigantic, and that's okay. I'm going to resize it. Okay, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It can overlap the lines a little bit, but you want to make sure you have space for your hashtags. So I'm going to move this guy on up. It looks like it still needs to be a little bit smaller. It's okay if it's inside the boxes. You have some white. You can also, if you prefer, you can make that black in the background to kind of make it stop out. So the reason I posted this picture is because this is my picture of my selfie. So I'm going to put hashtag selfie. Then I'm going to put mean muggin. Make it creative. Okay. Then I need to do a repost. So who would Socrates agree with? So Socrates is all about how government should make you a better person, that citizens owe it to their governments to make the world a better place. So I'm thinking of a philosopher who would also agree with that. And I'm going to say that I think that John Locke would be a good philosopher for me to agree with. So I might not find a quote or anything that they can repost directly, I might have to create it. So I'm going to go up and open a new tab of Google, and I'm going to look up a John Locke quote. Okay, and I might find ones like this that are pre-made for me, nice little image. And I also might find ones that are just a quote. So I'm going to show you how to do both of those things. So I might like this one, so I'm going to copy the image. I'm going to go back to my example. I'm going to size it down. Which I think is what you guys might be spending most of your time doing, is resizing, because everything comes in very connected. Okay, again, I want this to look a little bit nicer, so I'm going to dump back here, and I'm going to do that purple, because I think that looks cute. Okay, I'm going to repost here. Oops. John Locke, and then I'm going to use my hashtags. Hashtag live your best life. I might say common good. No worries. Anything like that. So I've used a vocab term to kind of help me add some depth to this. It's living my best life. I know it's a repost, so that looks good. Okay, the next thing that I need to do is teach you guys what to do if you can't find a pre-made image like this. So if that happens, you can add a text box like this. And so I might find a quote from a celebrity. Let's see, Socrates. Someone who really is important about the idea of equality is Dr. Martin Luther King. So I might not find a quote from him like this, but I could find one if I'm not looking at the images. Nothing might pop up, but I could find one here. So I like this one, the time is always right to do what's right. So I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to paste that into my thing. I can mess with the size and all the different fonts. Okay, I want to make sure that I credit to Dr. Okay, and then I can dump whatever color I want behind. So I'll do this nice purple. And you can do it here too if you want to. Just pick the same one. So now it looks like a post, and then I'm going to put my reason I posted this. Celebrity crush, maybe, is what I would use to be creative. And then say the word civic virtue. And then I'm going to add another one. He knows what's right. So that's kind of what you guys are going to be doing, is just adding images and pictures. So back to our requirements. Let's look at those one more time. So you're picking one of these guys to be your main page. It's whose account it is. They will have to have one image or quote from the other philosopher they support, which will be a repost. They'll have a picture that represents their contribution to American government. So that's where you would maybe use your influences chart to help you think about their big ideas or their contributions. And then you're also going to have an image or photo that represents the time or place they lived. So Socrates is from ancient Greece. So I might look up a picture of some ancient Greek columns, and I could use that. You do hashtag missing home, anything like that. So when you complete this project, you'll turn it in. You want to make sure that you're proud of the work that you're submitting. So if you have questions, feel free to message me via Schoology.